My name is Greg Lefoe. I'm a Senior Research Scientist with Agriculture Victoria and also Project Leader of the PIPS3 Integrated Pest and Disease Management Project. I'm responsible for the introduction of Mastrus ridens, which is a potential biocontrol agent for codling moth. Mastrus has been introduced to Australia in the past, so as part of PIPS1 and PIPS2 we tested and demonstrated the safety of Mastrus, so it was approved for introduction to Australia. But we've had trouble establishing viable Mastrus populations in orchards. One of the problems we think may have incurred is that the culture that we imported from New Zealand at the time was potentially inbred. So this culture has gone through many different labs before it arrived in Australia. And inbreeding is a potential problem that we deal with all of the time in lab-reared insects. So we've teamed up with researchers from South America to re-import a Mastrus ridens culture directly from Central America, where Mastrus is native to, and we think this genetic variability that we've now introduced into the Australian population of Mastrus will enable us to establish the insect more readily. Part of the process was importing it firstly into quarantine at AgriBio in Melbourne, where we can ensure that the imported culture is clean of contaminants, and we seek approval to release the insects into the Australian environment from the Commonwealth Government. The second time around it's much of a streamlined process, so we didn't need to go through the original risk analysis process again, but we do need to be careful that we don't bring any contaminants into the country, and so we go through that very rigorous process. Once we get approval to release Mastrus from quarantine, we can then bring the insects up to the Pear Smart Farm, and we have mass rearing laboratories here where the technical staff will produce thousands of Mastrus insects and get them ready for releases into the orchard. So here we have an example of the rearing cages that we use for Mastrus production. This is at the Tatura mass rearing facility at the Tatura Smart Farm. Neil and Sadat, the technical staff who rear the insects for us, use these rolls that contain diapaused larvae, so they're cocooned within the rolls, and we can mass produce the codling moth larvae and expose those to the adult Mastrus and produce new Mastrus, so multiple generations in any 1 year. So we keep these in storage. They'll stay in diapause quite nicely. When we need them, we bring these out and we hang them in these cages. We also provide supplementary diet and some water for the Mastrus, and we also collect the Mastrus from our control environment rooms. When they're ready, we introduce them into the cages, and the Mastrus females will lay their eggs inside these rolls where the codling moth larvae are. And the Mastrus larvae will then feed on the codling moth and produce the next generation, which we can then take out into orchards for release. And that's the stage that we're up to at the moment. So we're about to release Mastrus across southeastern Australia. That has already commenced with the first release in Victoria of this new genetically diverse population. And in autumn, we'll aim to conduct releases in Tasmania, New South Wales and South Australia.